The following is a CNN special report.
This is the final curtain call.
His last night was spent on stage.
And I said, all right, love you. He goes, love you more. See you tomorrow.
And then tomorrow?
Never came.
We have a gentleman here that needs help, and he stopped breathing.
Right then, I knew something was terribly wrong. I said, Janet, is he dead? And she said, he's gone.
Do you think there was some sort of conspiracy to kill your brother?
Absolutely.
How are you feeling?
It's possible that Michael had been using this anesthetic drug maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Elvis was huge, but Michael went around the world. He was off the planet.
Now, a behind-the-scenes look into the final days of Michael Jackson. As the sun rose above the exclusive Los Angeles hills, inside Michael Jackson's mansion, the entertainer began the morning of June 24th, 2009, doing what he loved, preparing for a show.
Now do it slow. He and I would start about noon or 1 o'clock at his home. We'd dance a few hours and stretch.
You have to have a full attitude. You have a half attitude. Do the full one.
Travis Payne was Michael Jackson's longtime choreographer.
We were, on a journey with Michael that was going to return him to the stage, that he loved so much. And I know that we were 8 days away from leaving for London.
The stage is where Michael was most at ease. On stage, there was no one better. Since age 5, he'd electrified audiences around the world with hit songs like I Want You Back. And the world appeared ready to welcome him back. It had been 12 years since Jackson's last major performance. The king of pop was poised to regain his throne.
This is it. This is really it. This is the final curtain call.
According to the contract with concert promoters AEG, Michael was to perform 50 concerts at the O2 Center in London over a 9-month period.
I'll be performing the songs my fans want to hear.
But was Michael physically up to the challenge? Both Michael and AEG had a lot on the line.
It was his comeback. It was his renaissance, his rebirth on stage. After so many years of being out of the spotlight, a lot of people were wondering if he could pull this off.
This is it, and see you in July.
But there were questions about whether Jackson was ready. Kenny Ortega, the director for This Is It, called a private meeting at Jackson's home. AEG's CEO Randy Phillips attended the meeting.
Kenny was concerned that he wasn't coming to enough rehearsals, that he was taking it a little too nonchalantly. And Michael explained that he needed Kenny to build the house, and then he would come in and paint the front door.
On the afternoon of June 24th, Jackson arrived at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. Rehearsals for This Is It often ran late into the night. On the surface, the man many say was born to perform never looked better.
Was his voice getting stronger over a period of rehearsal?
Absolutely.
Was his dancing getting stronger?
Absolutely.
His body, everything?
Absolutely.
Michael Bearden, the musical director for This Is It, was on stage that last night.
He looked back at me, after we did one number, and he looked at me as if to say, yeah, I'm Michael Jackson, I got this. He looked really good, and I tease some of the dancers when I see them, because MJ was 50 years old, and they're like half his age, and he still was wearing them out.
On stage, always a perfectionist. Off stage, a legend with a sense of humor.
He's making big money decisions, and then he would lean over to me and just say silly stuff like, who's your favorite Three Stooges? And I'll go, what, MJ? And he'd, oh, no, I don't like that. Yeah, can I have more of this on this? Oh, that's, yeah. I like Mo.
But beneath the surface, concerns from the very moment the concert tour was announced. Jackson was pushing himself to the brink.
I just think, how's he going to do these shows?
Record producer Rodney Jerkins.
50 dates at 50 years old? That's a lot of dates. And I was, you know, and I kept saying, I just hope he gets a physical trainer, someone to really work him out, to make sure he's healthy and prepared.
Jermaine Jackson says his little brother was ready.
I mean, he could have did 200 shows there.
I sat down with Jermaine following band rehearsals.
I felt that he could do it because of the way the shows were spaced out, and it wasn't like every day. See, like when we first started, we were doing one-nighters where you go every day, you're in a different place. You're riding a bus and you're sleeping on top of each other. That's tough. But this was and you didn't have to take the stage down. You were in one location.
I think that night he finally accepted down deep in whatever the inner reaches of an artist's soul are, that he could do this.
Was anything out of the ordinary that night?
The only thing that might have been out of the ordinary is that Michael had a serious glow about him that night. You could see his confidence growing, and he could see physically he was able to do the things that he wanted to do.
We were walking to our cars, and he put his arm around me at the Staples Center, and he said, "Thank you for getting me here. Now I know I can do it and take it from here."
Hold for applause, slow umbrella fade out.
Jackson left the Staples Center around midnight and headed to his rented mansion in the posh LA neighborhood of Holmby Hills. Just 12 hours later, however, nothing would ever be the same. Coming up.
Tina, your mom said, get down here, it doesn't look good.
The tragic news no family wants to hear.
I said, oh my gosh, what's going on?
A secluded LA mansion. A 911 call.
Yes, he's not breathing, sir.
Okay, and he's not conscious either.
No, he's not conscious, sir.
Okay.
A 50-year-old man in distress. That man is Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, the king of pop,
was taken to the hospital, and there were rumors
he was apparently administered CPR in the ambulance.
As the news breaks, Jackson's brothers, Tito and Jermaine, begin to hear grim and troubling reports from loved ones and the media.
Do you remember the day where you were and the time?
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget it. Yes, I was happened to be home. My middle son, Terrell, had called me on the phone and said, Dad, is it true what they're saying on TV about Uncle Michael? I said, what are they saying? They say he was rushed to the hospital and he's not breathing or something like that. I said, what?
You guys called, CNN called my wife and said, do you know anything about Michael being rushed to the hospital? And so I said no, and I called my mother immediately, and she said she's on her way to the hospital.
Jermaine's mother, Catherine, confirmed his worst fears.
She was already at the hospital. And I called her back and I heard her say, he's dead. And I couldn't believe to hear my mother say, her child is dead, my brother. And I got weak, very, very weak.
Tito Jackson couldn't get a hold of his mother as he raced to UCLA Medical Center. But a call from his sister, Janet, stopped him in his tracks.
I said, Janet, is he dead? And she said, he's gone. And I just melted right there, and I didn't know what to do. I pulled over in this parking lot and just cried for like 15 minutes and went back home.